podcast. I am your founder and host, Clarion Brown, and I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome, new friends, welcome, old friends. Just so excited to have you here on today. And this particular episode, I'm so excited. I have my personal beautician here on the show with me on today, and I'm so excited to hear her knowledge and, just for her to share with you guys also what she has going on. So, help me give a virtual welcome to Tayana Johnson. She is an Atlanta native making a difference, one hairstyle at a time. She's been in the beauty industry for almost 10 years and as a licensed cosmetologist. Let me put that in there because she is licensed, because you got some people out here that's not licensed and doing hair, but that's another story for another day. She also holds her cosmetology instructor's license for the past 5 years and is working towards becoming a certified trichologist in 2022. Hair has become a focus of interest for her for the past few years, and she believes that people will begin to take it as serious as they can. Aside from her being a hairstylist, she is also a postpartum doula, and she has a new podcast called Hairspray, bobby pins, and salon talk. Overall, she likes to classify herself as a jack of all trades who is a true artist. In her leisure time, she likes in catching up on sleep, who doesn't, trying new restaurants, and much more. And that is a little bit about her. You guys help me give a virtual welcome to Tayana Johnson.
Woo! Thank you so much for having me today.
Yes, thank you for coming on. I'm so excited about this because one of the things that I think that is important, and I'm really big on self-care, is just even taking care of our hair.
hmm
Making sure is not just, of course, it's not just about the body things, but it's taking care of our hair, especially if you're a natural. Well, it doesn't matter what you are.
hmm
Hair care is so important. So can you just kind of talk with us about like the importance of, healthy hair care? Because sometimes off the time we can get just do our own thing at home and have no
hmm
idea what we're doing.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I made a few notes just so I can stay on track, and broke it down. So as Clarion stated, I am your full-time hairstylist here, located in Atlanta, Georgia. And lately, for the past few years, hair care has definitely been at the top of my list as far as my delivery and making sure that everybody here thrives as much as they possibly can. And I do get a lot of common questions about hair care and surrounding hair care, which actually led me to thinking about taking my license and education a little bit further.
Hmm.
As Clarion stated, that I want to pursue becoming a certified trichologist this year. And so a trichologist is one who studies the hair and scalp really in depth. So they're really
Mm.
able to diagnose if you have some form of dermatitis and just different challenges like that going on with the scalp, and how to recommend different dietary changes and adjustments.
Oh
So that's
wow.
something my license does not allow me to do in the state of Georgia. But in Georgia, we do have a master cosmetology license. So I just can't diagnose, but I can highly recommend. And so lately, I've definitely been recommending a lot of my guests go and see a dermatologist for some scalp conditions. And yes, everybody, you can go to a dermatologist to
Oh wow.
get get a little insight on what's going on with the scalp, because they
I
study
didn't know
this.
that.
Because your scalp, excuse me, your scalp is a part of the skin, which is the largest organism, on the body.
Right.
So it's just a continuation. It's just covered by hair. And a lot of
Mm.
my guests has come back with what I already assumed they had, or starting to develop,
Mm.
which is a form of dermatitis. It can
Mm.
reflect and look like most of my guests had, they actually end up having, which was some form of dermatitis, which is a fungus that grows. I know when people hear fungus, it's like, oh my gosh. But it's
Yeah.
nothing to worry about because it's definitely a prescribed shampoo. They have a lot of prescribed hair care products that they can offer to you, which is great. But because we're in Georgia and or I'm in Georgia, you can't diagnose, so you can only recommend. So hence why I want to further my education and career and take the path of becoming a trichologist, just so I can really offer more to my clientele. And
Mm.
yeah, so self care. That's why hair care has like really become a part of, it's been on my top situation, and I kind of
Mhm.
touch bases on why a little bit later. But self-care is like so glamorized today and sought after, and what I would recommend is that you get a regimen, whether that regimen is incorporating going to see a professional in your self-care, um free time or what have you, definitely
Mhm.
get some regimen. A regimen is going to allow you to see results. It's just like when people work out and they want to see results, whether they want to lose inches or pounds or tone up, they are now in a regimen. So I would definitely highly recommend getting a regimen. Also, another way to make sure that you are on a good, straight, curvy path to
Mhm.
proper hair care is proper products. So I definitely,
Mm.
this one is one that really tops the charts when people reach out to me and ask me about certain things, because you have so much out there,
Yeah.
technology, different articles, natural hair care, the community, relax community, like what you should use, what you shouldn't use. It is
Yeah.
always, and I want to emphasize, it is always going to be a trial and error when it comes to
Mhm.
finding what works for you. And you might need more than one product
From
depending on
different
the
brands.
season. Yeah, it can
Mm.
be for different brands, but it's based on the season, because some people might have more dryness or oiliness in different seasons than the other.
Mm.
So proper products. So that's shampoo and conditioner. Um, there's heat protectant, and I definitely want to emphasize heat protectant. That's heat protectant for anybody. If you're wearing braids, if you're wearing your hair out curly, if your hair is relaxed, especially if you're wearing it out curly and wavy, in its natural state,
Yeah.
a heat protectant is going to be your top product. And it does not matter if you're not straightening your hair or not. The sun
Mm.
rays and the UV rays from the sun actually penetrate the hair just the same as a straightener does. So think
Oh
about a heat
wow.
protectant. Yeah, even on a gloomy day when your esthetician or somebody who focuses on skincare recommends using
Mhm.
a sunscreen,
Right.
it's the
Yeah.
same thing. Because it's a gloomy day right now, the sun rays still penetrate through the clouds just the same, if it was a sunny day, if that
Oh
makes sense.
wow.
Yeah, so heat
Wow.
protectant that has a UV protection in it, which is gonna be even better for somebody who has color on their hair also. So you get all kind of
Mm.
protection all around. So just think about the heat protectant as sunscreen. When you put your sunscreen on, spray a little bit of heat protectant on the hair, and you want to get one that's in a pump so it can just be easier for application purposes. But also, if you're wearing braids, most people don't
Mhm.
think if you're,
Mhm.
like, no, my hair is braided up, it's fine, nothing's gonna happen. But you have to think about your scalp. You want to still protect the
Mm.
scalp. So just to throw that out there. And then your styling and finishing products is a part of a proper hair care for proper products. So styling products, your heat protectant can be a styling product, your curl creams, your mousse, can be styling products. Water
Mhm.
is the number one product. That is going to be your styling product, because water can hydrate. That's where moisture comes from. A lot of people like, my
Mhm.
hair is so dry, I need moisture. Moisture is from water. Think about when you're drinking water, how it hydrates the body. The body is
Mhm.
70% water, but we still need water to keep our
Yes.
skin glowy and hydrated. So water is going to be your main thing that you need, followed by everything else.
Yeah.
And finishing products are like hairsprays and finishing sprays, like stuff like that. I also would recommend seeking a professional. And I know like a lot of people do their own hair home. Granted, me as a hairstylist, I do my own hair and I've been doing
Mhm.
my own hair for quite some time. But now I have a coworker, her and I, we trade off. So I do her
Yeah.
hair, she does mine. So I have a professional now, even though I am a professional, but I have a professional now that does my hair also. So seek a professional. This might be a part of a luxury expense for you. Luxury does not have to be designer. This can be a luxury thing. So you might be able to
Yeah.
just treat yourself like once a month or once every so often, but definitely treat yourself. When you book with a professional, book a hair treatment. That's a hair treatment is going to put in some ingredients back into the hair that's been removed from everyday manipulation, from straightening, detangling, brushing, wetting it down, blow drying, bantu knots, twist outs, braid outs, etc. And a treatment like a hair mask should just be done once a month because most hair masks
Mm.
have protein in it. We
Mhm.
already naturally produce and make our own protein. Keratin is in the hair. Keratin is a
Mhm.
protein. So you only want to do like a hair mask that has protein in it once a month. And this can be done under a dryer or a steamer,
Mm.
or what have you. Yeah. And even if you're a shower shampooer, like I'm a shower shampooer, so
Yeah, me too.
shampoo your hair first, put that hair conditioner or hair mask on, clip it up, and wash your body, go from there, and allow that steam from the shower to kind of like act as a steam treatment for you. So
Mm.
yeah, so think about it like that. And then also kind of finish out our proper hair care regimen is
Mhm.
to make sure you're sticking with a routine of getting your hair cut and hair trims. Now I know
Mhm. Ooh,
the
I'm so
people
bad at that.
listening, but I know like people listening, they're like, girl, no, this stylist is very scissor happy. Ooh, stylists cut off more than what they need to, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. Like so many things. And that could be true. It could depend on who you're going to.
Mhm.
However, you need to stick with it because you have to, that allows your hair to grow. And most people are
Right.
like, well, if I'm trimming it all the time or often, how can I see that it's growing? It's growing, trust me, it's growing. So depending on your hair growth cycle, so a hair growth cycle is, it determines like how fast, how slow, how moderate your hair grows. Everybody
Mhm.
has a hair growth cycle. Some people might have certain areas in their head, or on their head where some certain parts grow faster than the other. Some people back might grow faster than the front, or somebody's front might grow faster than the back, or one
Mhm.
side might grow faster than the other side. I definitely have had a few guests where one side of their hair grew faster than the other. So one side we're doing
Mhm.
a haircut and the other side we're doing a trim. But
Yeah.
once they started to kind of get in the groove of things, gain a proper regimen of coming to the salon every so often, it started to balance out. Their hair growth cycle really started to balance out, and we'll get into a few other things that can contribute to your hair growth cycle. But as I wrap up my recommendation for hair to my guests, I recommend 8 to 10, no, I'm sorry, 10 to 12 weeks, because it really allows my guests to just kind of get their haircut out the way. It allows them to get the proper amount of split ends, if you must. And some guests, they definitely go between the salon and protective styles, such as braids and things of that nature. So most people wear their braid styles for 12 weeks anyways, which is roughly 3 months. So all I always recommend is that you come in between braid styles to get a treatment and a trim.
Mhm.
Unless I will only skip the trim unless you have, let's say, taken your braids out the day before, came to me to get a shampoo and a treatment, and then you go in the next day or the following week to get your hair rebraided. If you
Oh,
are gonna,
yeah.
because most braiders nowadays, they don't like to braid on freshly cut or trimmed hair, yada yada yada. Um,
Mhm.
So I try to keep that in mind. But unless you're gonna have like a 2.5 week space in between your next braid service, then I'll go in with like just a light trim, not even a haircut. We'll do that when you're fully ready to wear your hair out. But a
Mhm.
few factors that contribute to hair growth cycle and things of that nature, it's like hair changes. All right. So,
Mm.
yeah, different hair changes. So, what is that? What contributes to that? Age contributes to hair changes as you get older
Mhm.
and mature. Your body changes, which leads to lifestyle changes. Maybe you started working out a little bit
Mhm.
heavier than you did before. Maybe you have changed your eating habits. So, what we know, AKA your diet. Maybe it's
Mhm.
improved. Maybe you've taken out something, or maybe you've gone from a carnivore to a pescatarian to a vegan, going
Mhm.
through those different changes. And your
Yeah.
body is trying to adjust, which leads to hormones. Hormones can change everything as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, like just like what is it called? Pre puberty, and then
Mhm.
that's like you start getting a little bit of acne or something's going on. Then puberty
Yeah.
hit and you full on acne. And even as an adult, you can start to develop adult acne. So, or
Mhm.
acne, excuse me. That is a part of your hormones. There's some type of hormonal imbalance, or you're producing a little bit more of something inside internally. So that's another story for another day. Pregnancy and pregnancy loss can contribute to hair changes. So I combined the two because during the time, no matter which transition is happening, your hair can thrive. It can be the shiniest it's ever been, which is your natural luster. It can be the strongest it's ever been. It can even
Mhm.
grow as it can grow a lot.
Oh
um,
wow.
yeah, it definitely can grow a lot because now your hormones have doubled because you're carrying, an individual in your womb. Um, and then even and I included pregnancy loss because even if there's something traumatic that has happened, which
Mhm.
has caused you to lose a child, no matter if it's a chemical or
Yeah.
however that happens, your body still has to go through those changes because you were just carrying a human being. So now your
Right.
body has to go through the development. You can still go through postpartum hair loss, pregnant or after pregnancy loss, because the body still has to go through all those hormonal changes. So
Oh
all of
wow.
that, yeah, all of that sits together. Medications, definitely medications. And I always like to remind people birth control is a form of medication.
Mhm.
And that birth control, you already know, has its own hormonal, non-hormonal, even though you can choose either
Yeah.
one, but regardless if it's non-hormonal, your body's still going through some type of change because it's trying to recognize the ingredients in the medication that's been prescribed. But I don't want to get too deep. Um, that all affects your hair loss. It can
Mhm.
affect like fullness and thinningness. It can affect the shine. Um,
Birth control?
well, yeah, it could, but
Oh
I was
wow.
speaking in general. I'm sorry. Let me
Okay.
back up.
Okay.
More generalized. But yeah, there are some birth controls that could affect the fullness and thinningness of the hair as well as the scalp. It can definitely
Oh.
contribute to the scalp. I know for myself when I tried Depo, the shot, I only
Mhm.
had one shot, never do it again, don't recommend.
Yeah.
But I end up getting all the things that they say you can potentially get, I got. And I was
Oh
like,
wow.
yeah, my hair fell out, my skin dried out extremely, and this was years ago. What else happened? My hair fell out, my skin was dry. Oh my goodness,
Mhm.
roller coaster of emotions. So with all of that happening, my hair, it showed through my hair. So
Yeah.
most people know when you're going out for these jobs now and they do drug tests, they don't just do urine samples anymore. They remove a portion of your hair
Mhm.
because hair history over time, the hair grows. The longer the hair, the more hair history there is to tell about what you've been through, what you've been doing. So
Mm.
just a little FYI for people out there.
Yeah.
um, a few other things that contribute to hair changes would be product buildup. So I know a lot of us love to
Mm.
just mist down our hair and reapply product every
Yeah.
2-3 days.
Right.
No, you don't need to do that. All you need to do is just mist your hair down with water. The water will help reactivate the product. There's no need to put more product on top because after that, all you're doing is creating a coating, and hence a buildup. Yes, it creates buildup. So all you need to do is just mist the hair a little bit with water. Just mist it, not saturate it. Also, environmental particles affect your hair. As far as
Mm.
like the shine, which is the luster. So that can be if you're walking past somebody, if you're in a highly smoking area, if you must, there's like a lot of
Mhm.
buildup. If you burn your candles and you just blow your candles out, that smoke, it rises. Unless you're
Mhm.
in the house and you have a home purifier, it minimizes it. But there's a lot of different things: pollen, snow, grass, all the things. That's what I mean by environmental particles. And then postpartum also contributes to hair changes. I kind of touch
Mhm.
bases on that already. Um, but yeah, like I said, your hair can be the shiniest, healthiest, strongest, double in length and density during and after postpartum, or during pregnancy and a little bit after. So during your postpartum stage. And then to almost wrap up, kind of leading
Mhm.
us into my doula life. So just to
Mhm.
clarify what a doula is a certified professional who supports a birthing individual and or their families. Like if they have other kids and if their spouse has to go back to work after 4 weeks, because most males get up to 4 weeks. Some get two, some don't even
Mhm.
get none at all,
Yeah.
but they get up to a 4 week maternity leave. And then there's many types of doulas. So you have postpartum doulas, you have birthing doulas, you have full spectrum doulas. Full spectrum
Mhm.
doulas are those that target every area: birth and postpartum, um, sex, lactation. So yes, there are sex doulas. Um,
Oh wow.
yeah, just to clarify, somebody's like, "Oh, what's that?" Just what it
Yeah.
sounds like. But for this individual, basically help couples kind of get back into the groove of things after
Right.
birthing.
After having a baby. Yeah.
Yeah, because typically most women are like, "Please don't touch me." This is the
Right.
reason why we're here because of you. Even though it takes two to tango, but
Yeah.
so that's what doulas are. We're more so of a support system in addition to what you do have, or don't have. So many doulas have different birthing plans, or not birthing plans, excuse me, payment plans to
Mhm.
help you in what you need. But they're very, very great. And I would definitely highly recommend, 10 out of 10, highly recommend everybody get a postpartum doula for after birth. Because
Yeah.
yes, granted, you have your mom, your aunt, their spouse or partner's parent
Mhm.
or auntie and them, like all them that had kids. Um,
Yeah.
but sometimes you need that outside person to help just reassure you, and who doesn't have too much of a personal background, because
Yeah.
sometimes your family can still be a trigger for you, um in
Mhm.
a negative sense, because they might do something that's getting on your nerves while you trying to have this baby or after you gave birth, and they could be like, well, we did it like this. It's like, well, okay, now but
Right.
I'm doing it like this with my child that came out of my
Right.
body.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes you just need that outside person to help will it back in for you. And then also your doula can help set you up for success post birth, as far
Mhm.
as help prepping meals for you, because when you have a kid, you unfortunately a lot of
Yeah.
parents But yeah, so sometimes you just need that support, that extra support outside of who knows you personally, just for some reassurance, you know. And then yeah, sometimes your doula can turn into your friend, but just remember that your doula is there to help get you through, and they have a purpose of just help setting you up for success. I know for one of my friends, I basically kind of like put myself in the position of being her friend, but mainly being her postpartum doula also. And it
Yeah.
was so funny because the day before, well, I should say hours before she gave birth, I was with her at her mom's house, and I had asked her mom if she could fix like 3 pans of plates. I mean, of food for them because they were,
Mhm.
preparing to give birth sometime
Right.
within the next 2 weeks at that point. And her mom was like,
Mhm.
she thought it was comical, but she understood what I was coming from. But she was like, "You trying to set me up?" I was like, "Nah, she about to have this baby tonight." And then
Yeah.
they were like, "No, don't say that." I said, "Well, girl, from the way it
Yeah.
looks for me to you,
Yeah.
you about to give birth in
Baby
like
about to drop.
tomorrow." And what do you know? Lo and behold, few hours later, she ended up giving birth. And
Oh wow.
yeah, it's so funny. It was so funny. I was like, see, I knew the reason why I asked if you'll help prep some food came in handy.
Yeah.
Because most people
Yeah.
aren't thinking about that. And I do want to say this before we wrap up,
Mhm.
is that for families who will inquire about having a doula, or who what you should, or you feel like you can't afford one, what you should do
Mhm.
is put that on your registry. Is somebody
Mm.
help, maybe they can contribute X amount of dollars, or they can contribute in some kind of way to help you get a doula.
Mhm.
As well as for all the family members that always want to come and love on the baby, what you
Yeah.
could do is set more boundaries.
Mhm.
Because like most people know nowadays, most people do know not to like kiss kids, like newborns, in their mouth, because
Oh
hence
God.
herpes, so
Yeah.
that's a thing, an outbreak, and it's a bit
Yeah.
much. I can go on about that, but what you could do is within your boundaries that you set for family and friends to come and see you and the baby, you can create a train. So if they go, or a trade off, I should say it like that. You should create a trade off. So
Mhm.
basically, what I mean is, if they want to come and see you, they need to know. Oh, or you need to ask them, can you wash some dishes? Can you load this washer up and wash this one
Yeah.
load of clothes for me? There needs to be some type of trade off, because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, everybody want to see the baby, but it's like, what are you going to do to see the baby? Because I
Mm,
need
yeah.
help with this
Yeah.
baby. So that's definitely two little tips I can give you, is to add a doula to your registry and
Mhm.
to create a trade with family and friends. you know?
That
So
is good. This was like some amazing information. Like I was over here Googling like cause you told me this months ago, but I just
uh-huh.
remember Googling like some heat protectant with SPF because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
man, like I'm blown away by how much can be affected and it how it can affect our hair.
Yeah.
I'm just blown away. But I think that that's a good idea. I think I read this article where this lady, I think that she paid like 10K for like a doula, and a lot of people were coming after her.
Oh,
And I
I
was
know
like,
I know what you're
what's
talking
the
about.
issue with that?
She
Like, we
paid
have no
6.
idea. Oh, 6K. Well,
Mm-hmm.
still, like we have no idea what she went through in her birthing process.
Yeah.
We have no idea what her medical history is like with postpartum
Mm-hmm.
depression. Leave that lady alone. If she had
Yeah.
it, she paid for it. Leave her alone.
Yeah. And when I say doulas have birthing plan or payment plan, excuse me, there's
Yeah.
some way you can still afford it. You may not be able to afford the doula
Mm,
that you want, so definitely do your research, have your interviews and consultations.
yeah.
But there's somebody out there for you. And here's the thing: she had everything mapped out, which will work for her. Her doula is a
Mm-hmm.
overnight doula. I know exactly the lady you're talking about. She had an overnight doula. Now, here's the thing with overnight doulas: they get paid more because parents, especially first time parents, they don't want nobody to go to sleep, because
Right.
they want to make
Yeah.
sure that the baby is alive and thriving even though they're sleeping,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
so most overnight doulas do not go to sleep. It's like working at McDonald's at an overnight shift. There's no napping. So you
Oh,
gonna get paid more. Like, you gonna pay me more if
right,
I can't go to sleep for 8 hours. You gonna pay me more. Like,
right, right,
there's no
right,
way. And then I think she
right.
only came like 2 or 3 days out the week, so it worked
Yeah, well,
out.
shoot, that was 2 or 3 days. She was able to get a full night's rest.
Yeah, she needed it because she knew the rest
Yeah,
of the day it was going to be everything was going to be on her. And it was not to say that she couldn't handle it, but she was doing her preparation for her postpartum, just to make sure she can be, full on for her baby. So I don't
yeah.
think it's nothing wrong with it. I
I don't
definitely,
either.
yeah, I definitely plan on, like, I don't have little people now, but
Hmm.
in the future, if I do have a little person, I do plan on doing things a lot differently. I want a water birth, unmedicated,
Hmm.
and I just want to be set up for success, and I will
Yeah.
pre-plan and prepare for those things as much as I can. But if Lord say He want me to be in the hospital, I'm gonna be like, can I go to Atlanta Medical, Lord?
Yeah, because they have
Because
water births.
they have a level, a
Hmm.
floor. I think it's in addition to the birthing floor, or it's above or below. Anywho, I'm like, can we compromise? And he might say yeah, and I'm like, okay, cool, we gonna make this thing happen.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Because the thing that I don't like about that, like that's amazing. Like,
mhm,
I'm definitely, because I plan to have more kids, I'm definitely hiring you for my doula. But the thing is that because I even said my next kid or
mhm,
however many, I'm definitely doing a water birth because one of the things that, like, and not saying if this is your preference, and again, this is not a podcast for to medical advice. Please seek your
right,
own medical provider, please. But as far as for me, it was just like, when I went to the hospital, I wasn't allowed to eat. I wasn't even
mhm,
allowed to drink. And I'm like, what type of madness is this?
mhm,
Like, I need to eat food. Like, because by the time I was probably like 11 hours in, all
mhm,
natural with my son, and I just couldn't take it anymore.
mhm,
But I think had I had eaten and drank some more, I would have had the strength to continue to handle the contractions
mhm,
and things like that. Because I felt like I was kind of forced. I'm definitely doing a midwife, doula, water
mhm,
birth, the whole nine, because it's like, yeah, but if you choose to go, some people just prefer to go to the hospital.
and that's
That's their own
okay.
personal preference. Yeah, that's totally fine. That's your personal preference. But
Mhm.
man, this was like amazing. Like, I learned so
Yeah,
much.
well, I'm happy I was able to provide a little bit of information. Sometimes I like see people, or I listen to other people who just like really dish out a lot of information, and I'm always like, "Ooh, I
Yeah.
want to be like that." And then sometimes I have to
Yeah.
step back and be like, "I am like that in some
You
in
are.
some way, you know." And
Yeah.
I'm happy you said also to seek your own medical advice.
Hmm.
Definitely, we are not advertising for anything. We just, having a
Right.
conversation,
Right.
but also, um just to recommend, you do need to be in some type of tier to qualify for certain things.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
you want to, let's just say you already have a little person or you're prepping, you would need to prepare your body. So that means you need to get out there and walk around. Just because you carry
Yeah.
a little person, you can't just be lazy. If you know you're
Yeah.
going to be eating all crazy, you need to get out there and do some exercises. Because
Yeah.
most people, you can do exercises. Okay. So if you want
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
these things because that's what you want to do and not because it's so glamorized right now, then you have to put the
Hmm.
work in. At the end of the day, you got to put the work in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I followed, if you guys are not familiar with Willie Moore Jr. He hosts one of the gospel
Mhm.
radio shows here. His wife, I followed her last pregnancy,
Mhm.
and I mean, she was a beast. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, she was posting how she was working out throughout her whole pregnancy,
Mhm.
and she would, of course, post like, "Today was a hard day, but I did this." So
Yeah.
I'm like, now, of course, it's up to, of course, what your doctor, what your midwife says. Of course,
Mhm.
don't push yourself over, but she was healthy enough to do that, and I'm like, man, that's just
Yeah.
so encouraging. Like, but yeah, so Tayana, how can people reach out to you? How can they book you? She's in the Atlanta area, so if you're in Atlanta, she's my hairstylist. She's amazing.
Oh,
So if
thanks.
you're in the Atlanta area, definitely. How can people reach you? How can they listen to your podcast?
Yeah, so you can follow me on social media. I'm mainly on Instagram. You can follow my hair page at the artist ARTIST Tayana
Hmm.
J, TAYANNA, and then just the letter J. So the artist Tayana J. And also you can follow my postpartum doula page on Instagram as well at Ty the Doula. That's the at symbol Ty TY the doula DOULA. And my podcast is available also on Anchor, Apple, and Spotify. And it's going to be Hairspray, bobby pins, salon talk. So hairspray is going to be one word, HAIRSPRAY. Bobby pins is going to be BOBBY, hyphen or dash, pins, PINS, um, and salon talk. So salon talk is going to be two words, SALONTALK. So yeah, come and
Yes.
listen, come book your appointments, and we can talk about it. And then from there, you'll be able to contact me via email, via text, for any other questions or consultations you would like to book for.
Yes, yes, yes. And I will, if you missed any of that, they will be in the show notes. They'll be in the description. Listen, I'm telling you guys, she's absolutely amazing. I've known her since high school, but she's been my stylist actually since middle school.
Yeah, since middle
Yeah,
school.
since middle school. Yeah, since middle school. And she's amazing. She's knowledgeable. She's prom. And you guys know, like some of these beauticians and stylists and things like that, they really don't walk you through the process of what they're doing. I mean, the services are amazing. They're consistent. I know it's been put in my hair. I know it's been done to my hair, blah, 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 blah.
Mm,
I mean, the whole night is just amazing. So definitely, if you guys are looking for a new stylist in the Atlanta area, please check her out. And just check out her podcast as well and check out her doula services. If you are interested in any of that, please don't hesitate to reach out to her for these, and I'll definitely post it. Thank you so much for joining and for coming on and speaking to us and dropping these knowledge
yeah,
on
thanks for
us.
having me.
Yeah, so guys, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Dear Single Mama Podcast. Also, you can follow me, follow my website, www.dearsinglemama.com. If you have any topic suggestions that you want to hear about, or even if you want to be a potential guest on my show, you can reach me at the Dear Single Mama Podcast. It was such a pleasure. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. If you have any feedback, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a voice message. Let's communicate back and forth. Please don't hesitate. Please don't be afraid. I'm not this big, non approachable person. I
All
promise you, I'm very kind. So until next time, I will see you guys. Peace.
right, bye.